I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic 1963 I Have a Dream speech for freedom, jobs and an end to racism in the United States. Well, this year marks 52 years since his assassination. As Americans mark the day in his honor, his legacy as a pillar of hope for his people is still being kept alive.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
We have numerous events here in Atlanta. We do our nonviolence education and training. And then on the actual holiday, on Monday, the 20th of January, we start out with an ecumenical commemorative service where we have numerous tributes and greetings from elected officials and a main speaker and music, of course. And it's a reflection of different religions that are present, different political affiliations. We are looking at the issue of systemic racism, understanding that. And then the second part of that talks, which is Monday night from 6 to 8, and people can stream it even from South Africa. They can go to the King Center Facebook page and stream it. We're going to have 2 former NFL players, how to disrupt systematic racism through the work that they're doing to impact social justice.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
the
office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability. Preserve, protect, and defend.
The
Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
But that was not going to reverse a deeply entrenched inequality, racism, and injustice.
I don't want people to be surprised, or I don't want people to be ignorant of the fact that under President Barack Obama, we still had racial issues. We still had racial strife in America. In fact, it was just dormant. It was there. And I think too many people got excited about having a black president and didn't realize that we still have issues of race, inequality, inequity, wealth disparities in our nation, and that we have to continue to be vigilant. Whenever we get comfortable because we elected a person that looks like us, that's when problems ensue. And I think that's what happened for 8 years. And so they were there all along, and then they just came more to the surface under President Trump because he's allowed and expressed certain things to invite people to, feel comfortable, living out their hateful ideologies.
Some have gone as far as accusing the American president of being racist. Do you share that sentiment?
What I would say is it's very difficult to believe that he's not. From some of the policies and the statements, yes.
Where does it leave the work and legacy of your father? Do you think it's being diminished?
No, I think it's being called forth in a stronger way. Sometimes when your back's against a wall, what's inside of you comes out. So we've seen the manifestation of negative things, but what people don't talk about is the number of people who have rallied together during this time in ways that hasn't happened in a long time. People who are collaborating, dealing with coalitions to really stand up for issues of freedom, justice, and equality. We went through a season, I believe, in this nation where people were kind of indifferent and detached from civic engagement. And now I think we have record numbers of people across generations who are more engaged in our nation. And so while on the one hand, we have the polarization and the divisiveness, particularly on the political front, on the other hand, there are masses of people understand their civic responsibility in ways that they have never understood it before. And so, I think we're in a good place. As the young folks say, the people are woke, and the key is that we stay woke. And I think the presence of this polarization makes people realize that we have to stay woke. And like my mother said, accept her statement. My mother, Chriselda King, said, struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation. I think the danger is that when we get certain people in office, we get comfortable and we get laid back, and we don't realize that struggle is not about getting a person in a position, that it's an ongoing struggle to fight to make sure that we continue to protect certain freedoms and advance other freedoms.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is marked as the third Senate impeachment trial of a U.S. president in history formally gets underway.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted.
And as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have turned 91 this year, a renewed call from his family to learn from his teachings. Chriselda Lewis, SABC News in Johannesburg.